My biggest struggle had always been I knew that I needed help. I knew that I needed an assistant. My family was suffering so much. My marriage was suffering. My business is suffering because it's so busy and I don't have time for everything. And business was just taking over my life. So I knew that I needed an assistant, but honestly, I did not know how. How do you hire an assistant? And even more so than that, how do you learn how to delegate? And what do you delegate? And then what does that look like when you're working with somebody? And what does that look like when you are so type A that you cannot give any kind of control away? So ATW is really awesome because it truly showed me how to that I don't have to put my business on hold. I don't have to take 2 months off to create all of these processes. There's very easy tricks of the trade to kind of get everything um, kind of put together and organized to be able to hire somebody and have help. And that saying that so many of us know of do it scared, I was like, it is time to just do it. And the aha moment for me is when during the class, you or somebody said the right the right assistant, the right virtual assistant is going to be able to just take what you tell them to do and figure it out on their own. Initially I said, I am just going to hire somebody locally in my town or whatever, or somewhere, but just in the US based, because it felt too overwhelming to also figure out how to work with like a true virtual assistant. But I did some interviews and honestly didn't love the quality that I was having kind of coming at me. So I had a conversation with a lot of people in the class who went through Green Path and did a virtual assistant overseas. And I realized that this block in my mind of having it be so hard to work with somebody overseas, I, it was so easy, honestly. And I'm so glad that I did end up going that route. I went through Green Path. They matched me up with an assistant. There is zero language barrier. That was something I was a little bit worried about. Zero language barrier whatsoever. And she works, I had my choice and I said I would like for my assistant to work the same hours that I do. She was already used to working nights, so she preferred that anyway. So she works the my hours during the day. We're working in tandem. I'm sending her screenshots of like, Vacation Express, this is what I want to propose to the client. Here's a screenshot of the package. Go put it in Travify. Or like just I'm like sending her things throughout the day. Boom, boom, boom. It gets done. And it's not nearly as hard as what I thought it would be. So I'm very excited. So I was willing to pay $22 an hour for an assistant here. And the quality of candidates that I was getting for that price point was not what I was hoping for. So with Green Path, I know it's a little bit different for everybody. It's right around $2,000 a month for a full-time 40 hours a week assistant, and that is considered to be like top dollar over there for an assistant in the Philippines. And the the actual interview process was really easy. They sent me like an assessment, skills assessment to say like how do I do work, how do I communicate? And then they just said, "Hey, we have this assistant for you that we think would be really good. She matches up with skill sets that you're looking for and also just personality traits." So I didn't have to interview multiple people. They were just like, let's interview her, see what you think. I thought she was delightful. The interview was super easy. They took care of everything. So all I had to do was literally just show up to this interview after I took the skills assessment. We talked for about a half hour. I could ask any question that I wanted to. And then I just said, yeah, let's go for it. And like they do all the heavy lifting and they just hand an assistant to you on a silver platter to say, here you go. And if there's any issues, they're right there for me to be like, hey, we're struggling with this. Can you give coaching on that or whatever? But I don't have to worry about that. And my business and day to day continues on just like it did before, but a little bit easier. When I'm traveling, I was always just this high level of stress of I have to get up extra early so that I can get in 5 or 6 hours of work before we can go and enjoy the resort or whatever it is that we're doing. And now I'm just out doing my thing. sending her a text. Can you take this quote and make it pretty in Travify? Can you create this invoice? Can you send this, this final travel docs over? It's great.